This checkout function works, but it hides four business decisions inside it. And that's why it gets harder to test and harder to change. Most code isn't rigid because it's complex. It's rigid because decisions are scattered everywhere. If your code is hard to test and brittle to change, there's a good chance decisions are living in the wrong place. Let me show you. Hello world, I'm David Scott Bernstein and welcome to The Passionate Programmer. Here's the trap. We're deciding what objects we need. We're constructing them. And we're using them, all in one function. That tangles identity decisions with behavior. Now watch what happens when requirements change. Add one more discount rule. Add one more shipping policy. Now this function is a crossroads. Every change forces edits right here. And testing gets harder because each path is wired to real construction. This is where we do the decision migration move. And this is the moment that everything changes. We move decisions out of behavior and into a factory. A factory is allowed to know identities. It can contain conditionals because that's where identity coupling belongs. But here's the one rule that you have to follow when working with factories. Factories may instantiate objects, but they must never call methods on those objects. Notice, create, connect, return. No behavior calls. The factory does not use the objects that it creates. It only returns them. Now the rest of the system gets to be boring, and boring is good. The objects that factories return are now used by the rest of the system. And the rest of the system can call methods on those objects, but they must never instantiate those objects. Those are the key rules of factories. Factories instantiate objects, but they never call methods on them. And the rest of the system may use those objects, but may never instantiate them. When you separate out these two perspectives, creation from usage, everything gets much simpler. And software gets easier to maintain, extend, and validate. The rest of your code, it doesn't decide what to use. It just uses the objects given them. Testing factories is very straightforward. Give it business rules in, and you verify that you got the right objects back. That's it. Identity coupling is contained. Isn't this weird? But it's kind of interesting too. So a conditional does really two things. It qualifies, and then it acts. But in object-oriented programming, we only want to do one thing at a time. So how do we resolve it? What we do is we split it up. And that's really what factories are doing for us. They're splitting up a standard conditional where the decision is being made in the factory, and then it delegates to the rest of the code to actually do the action. It vastly simplifies code, especially complex code that requires multiple decisions in many different levels, because all of those decisions can be consolidated into an identity. When you understand what the identity is, then it can be processed and understood in that way. It's much more understandable, but it's also much more straightforward to maintain because things are being organized by how they change rather than by anything else. And this is the way to organize. We want to organize our systems by the way they can change or evolve so that when they do, we can handle it. That's the basic idea. Factories are fundamental in that. That's like the central concept. There's really the two central concepts, and they go hand in hand together in object-oriented programming. Number one, polymorphism. And polymorphism is just a big word that's just about substitution, making substitution interchangeable so that you don't have to worry about what the substitute is. Okay, that's a form of decoupling. And it's a really important form of decoupling because it means that the responsibilities start to decentralize. And we want to do that so that when there is changing happening, when change happens, which is inevitable in software, let me tell you, an old guy talking to you. If software is being used, this needs to be changed. So when change happens, we want to be able to handle it gracefully. We want to be able to handle it in a way that doesn't break a ton of other things. We do that by centralizing decisions in factories and decentralizing the behavior in our objects. That's the basic idea. And some people are thinking, well, why hasn't anyone told me this before? Because object-oriented programming is kind of a different mindset. Functional programming is also a different mindset. Procedural programming is pretty much the mindset that we all kind of understand and know. It's very narrative. It's like, do this, do this, do this, right? It's like a story. And because of that, it's brittle, because each step is dependent upon the one before it and the one after it. In an object-oriented system, we can create autonomous entities. It takes a little thought to be able to do. It took me years to get into the habit of doing it. But when you do, you start to see that there's more flexibility than just creating straight narratives. If this information on factories is clicking for you, then click subscribe. This series is a set of design lenses, one per episode, and they stack. Here's the payoff. Now we add one new discount type. By changing the factory, not every caller, we're able to integrate. The client is closed for modification. The factory is open for extension. That's the open-close principle in the real world. Claude gave me a helpful way to phrase what's happening here. When I was working with Claude told me, factories are where systems admit what it believes about identity. And that's exactly right. It's the belief layer. Now that decisions are centralized in one place, a new risk appears. We can get too clever with factories. In the next episode, we'll look at my one thing that I think is the most central in understanding what good code is, testability as a smell detector. When testability is off, very often it's telling us that we're missing part of a requirement or we don't understand what we're building in the depth needed. Watch testability as a smell detector next. If you want the full mental model, start at the beginning of the playlist. Each episode adds a new shape. Until next time, happy coding.